What's up guys, Come473 here bringing you another YouTube video, and today I have a different video of sorts for you guys. I have my top 10 hopes for Black Ops 4 Zombies. My expectations are high, but manageably high, because I don't want to get my hopes up too high for the game and be let down. So if these things aren't in the game, I'll be okay, but I think they will go a long way to make Black Ops 4 the best Zombies experience that we have ever had. So without any further ado, because I do tend to talk too much in my intros, let's get into the video. In the number 10 spot, and these are in ascending order of importance, so 1 being the most important, 10 being the least, I have perk variety and pre-map perks omitted. So what I mean is, first of all, we need different perks for every map as it adds variety to the game, and I think variety is incredibly important in Zombies, because Black Ops 3 did get a bit stale with its perks. They were good perks, but I like a bit more, like Who's Who is a terrible perk, but it added a bit of tension to Die Rise, because when you get your free perk, you're like, please don't be Who's Who. And I don't like Buried, but sometimes I jump in just because Vulture Raid's a fun perk to use, and how Electric Cherry is very important to the strategy of Mob of the Dead. Things like that just add more to a map. However, as much as I'm a big fan of variety, I don't believe the pre-map perk system from World War II Zombies is the way to go. It's a really good idea, but it's sledgehammers. It's one of the few things they did better than Treyarch. Let them have it. I think that Treyarch should focus more on their perk bottle system. It's their thing. It's become synonymous with their Zombies, and they do it better than any other group. So let them have it, and leave the armor thing too. Leave that with Sledgehammer. I'm not a big fan of it, but I like how they've differentiated each other. That's one of the cool things about Zombies. I don't believe all studios should have Zombies, but if they are going to, keep it different. So yeah, in summary, just perk variety, but leave out the Sledgehammer system. In the number 9 spot, my second point, more weapon variety. The weapons in Black Ops 3 were a little bit stale. I feel like having those base game weapons on every map kind of got a little bit boring, and they all felt the same, especially with the repack abilities. I just didn't really like. I don't love any of the guns in Black Ops 3. They're good. They're all really good, and that's the problem. I think we need some bad guns in there. Like when we go to the box, like in Black Ops 2, the tension of the box is ridiculous. You could get a Galil or you could get an SMR. You don't really know what you're going to get. Whereas in Black Ops 3, even if you get one of the lesser guns, if you pack a punch it, it's still a beast. So I think that having bad guns in the game will just add, again, more variety and a bit more tension to the playthrough. Like if your first gun out of the box is terrible, maybe you'll think, no, I'm going to buy a reliable wall weapon instead. Things like that. It needs to add a bit more strategy and, again, a little bit of luck into Zombies. Never hurt anybody. My number 3 point, and the reason this is so low, well, number 8 on the list, is because it doesn't really affect the quality of the game. It's more like a fanboy wish than anything. But Mob of the Dead Remastered, because it's my favourite map, or Transit Remastered, because it's terrible and could use a remaster more than any other map, even 5. But I think Transit makes more sense thematically. I think 5 is pointless. I don't want a remaster of 5, leave that alone. But Mob I'd like to see remastered, but it's already excellent, and I feel like if they made it worse that would be upsetting. So remaster it or don't. I'll be okay if they don't, but it'd be nice to see it done, because they'd have to make some changes, because it wouldn't work as well in the Black Ops 3 engine because of the narrow corridors. You'd get hit too quickly and you'd probably die. So I don't think it would work. But Transit, I'd love to see remastered, because it's terrible. It's the worst map, and if you don't know that, you haven't played every map. It's horrendous. And I think having it remastered would be a great idea, because they can't make it worse, and if they did, it'd be really funny. So I'd like to see Transit sort of fixed, and now they can make what I assume they originally envisioned as Transit, because they don't need fog now, because they can render those draw distances, and I think it would be great to see. In the number 4 spot, or technically in the number 7 spot, my 4th point, balanced gobblegums. Now, I like gobblegums. They're fun. They're pretty much the only reason I can get over around 100 on a map, because of gobblegums. But they are overpowered. They got ridiculous. About 2/3 of the way through Black Ops 3, around Gorok Crowy time, they got stupid. And especially with Chronicles, some fucking power vacuum that was fucking retarded. So I can't say that, can I? I can't say retarded anymore. Whoops. Yeah, it got ridiculous, and I think having gobblegums is like, I still think they should be in the game, but I think they need to scale them back a little bit, and also have separate leaderboards for gobblegum matches. Because this could only apply to solo, because you can't control if someone else uses gobblegums in your lobby in multiplayer. but in solo, have separate leaderboards, kind of like how Zombie Records does it for like no gobblegums, classic gobblegums, and the megas, so that like just there's more high round options, and the people who don't like gobblegums won't feel as shafted on the leaderboards. Basically, they kind of get fucked over. So I think having the Zombie Record system would be a great idea to just add a bit of fairness to the leaderboards, I suppose, and the old school zombie players who don't like gobblegums don't feel like they have to use them to stay competitive, because that is a problem. Like, you don't have to use them, but to stay competitive you kinda do. So I mean, that's my opinion on it, but I'd still like to see them in the game, as again, more variety is always good. In the number 6 spot on our list, my 5th point, survival maps. This is one of the other things that World War II did that's really good, but I feel like Treyarch can rob this. Because technically they did it in Black Ops 2 with Transit, they had the survival sub-maps, and I think they should absolutely bring that back, as a huge problem with Black Ops 3 is none of the maps are very forgiving to new players. Even the Horizon track, which is really easy, you still need to know how to play zombies for it to become easy. Like, you still need to know how to upgrade the bow in order for it to become a really easy map. And it's not really a good map to learn zombies on, whereas opposed to, say, Town, which is, in my opinion, the best noob map ever. Even maybe Kino is contender, but Town is up there for noob map. Like, how to learn the game, I suppose. Town is quality for that. Now, I'd love to see survival maps implemented. Personally, I wouldn't like to see the casual Easter egg be a requirement. I'd like to see it be like, either do the casual Easter egg or get round 30, as I'm not a big Easter egg guy, and I'd like to see there be other ways to obtain survival maps. I like the fact that you can unlock them, because it gives you an incentive, it's something to work towards, but considering they're more for new players' benefits, it might be better to have them available from the start. I think that's probably how it should be done, and if they are going to be unlocked, make it so you have to earn them, not just through Easter eggs, because Easter eggs are very discouraging to new players, and I wouldn't recommend that being the way to unlock them, but that's just me. In the number 5 spot, my number 6 point, make progression fun. Leveling up in World War II Zombies is too slow in my opinion, and it was really boring, and just didn't really feel an incentive to play the map over and over again once I got my round 30 plus. Like, I had no compulsion to go for 50 or even higher, really. I got my 30, I was satisfied with my position on the leaderboards. I was like, I have no real interest in playing anymore. And I think the level cap level is too high for the speed in which you gain XP. If you want to have it at 45, level up faster. I think Black Ops 3 implemented this system pretty perfectly. I don't really have a problem. It was slow, but not painful. Just fast enough that you could like feel yourself progressing, I think. And just return it to Treyarch. Just literally don't change anything. This is one of the few things where it's like, just don't fuck with it. Just leave it be. And yeah, just make progression more enjoyable. Also, maybe reward players with things. Like, personally, I'd love to see like avatar skins. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like, if we're playing, let's say we're playing as the main four, like Takeo, Richtofen, etc., but have like different outfits, maybe just something to reward players for prestiging and grinding through zombies, because that's why we play it. We play it to kind of like have something at the end of it, I suppose, not just satisfaction. So, in my opinion, that's like a pretty big thing on the list. That's why it's up here. But the next few points are all a bit more important to me. In the number 4 spot, my 7th point, focus on high rounds. This is incredibly personal. This is really it's not like sad personal, but like it's incredibly subjective, and I'm probably in the minority with this one, but I prefer high rounds to Easter eggs. And I've argued with friends over this. Most of my friends are more Easter egg oriented. I am much more into high rounds, and I think we need to restore a bit of parity between the two games. I feel like it really reached its worst point with Infinite Warfare Zombies. That game just does not look designed to be high rounded. It's like trying to capture the Easter egg audience more so, but then they made the Easter eggs really like dumb and easy, like Shaolin Shuffle. Is that the map with the Morse code? I don't know. They made Easter eggs like dominant in Black Ops 3 and IW, and it looks like World War 2 as well. And I think we need to restore what Zombies is all about, which is outliving the horde. You know, you gotta go for the high rounds, because back in the day, before I really even played Zombies, or when I was terrible at it, you'd be going in and your mates be arguing over like, oh, who gets higher in Kino. Like that, the point is who lasts longer, and I think that needs to be kind of brought back into Zombies. Bring the competition back into it. Like, my mate wonders like, why do I take Zombies competitively? It's like because it used to be competitive. It's cooperative too, but like trying to get them leaderboards, trying to be the best out of your mates at Zombies is like something that used to drive me a lot. So I don't know, I think they need to restore some, I don't know, like, I mean, and even if you look at the zombies community on YouTube, like, high round views are nothing nothing compared to Easter egg views. That's fucking ridiculous. In my opinion, seeing someone try to push themselves to round 100 is way more interesting than seeing someone try to complete preset challenges. But again, that's just subjective, and I know a lot of people would disagree with that, so that's just me. In the number 3 spot, my 8th point, casual Easter eggs. Even though I just said Easter eggs should not be more important, I think having casual Easter eggs was a great idea, and they should be kept in the game. There's not really a lot to say about this one. Literally just take the Final Reich stance on it, make a casual Easter egg that they kind of guide you through, but have like a little bit of challenge into it, and make it more kind of, you get some of the story for playing it, because I know my cousin has been expressing interest in the zombie storyline, but finds the Easter eggs too daunting, and I think a casual Easter egg would just make people feel more welcome, because Zombies isn't an easy game. I fully think Zombies is incredibly challenging, and I think trying to encourage more people to give it a go and get invested is a great idea. And I feel like this is something Treyarch will do. I could really see them doing this, because, I mean, it kind of feels now at this stage that in Treyarch games, Zombies has become more important than multiplayer, it feels almost. So I feel like this is something they'll definitely do. Out of all the things on this list, this is probably the biggest shout. But yeah, I'd love to see casual Easter eggs implemented in the game. Not so much for me, but just for people who like Easter eggs but maybe find them a bit too difficult. And also, this goes without saying, but keep solo Easter eggs in the game. That's a must. Absolutely. In the number 2 spot, my 9th point, a weapon ranking system. Now this is one of the few things on this that I feel is pretty original. I haven't seen anyone mention this before, and this is my idea, and I'm pretty proud of this. But a weapon ranking system, and I don't mean like the weapon levels in Black Ops 3, that just pointless. Why would you care about quick draw when you have repack abilities? But have, say, like weapon ranks 1 to 20, and the more you use the gun, the more it ranks up, obviously. And instead of just getting attachments, the gun gets stats and multipliers and boosts to things like damage, rate of fire, reload speed, ammo capacity, things like that. And obviously not like a huge amount, because pack-a-punch still has to be important, like not repacks, base pack. Like obviously like pack-a-punch just doubles everything or whatever, but make it so you're rewarded for using a gun that you like. Because if you love a gun but it's bad, but you can use it to the point where it becomes really good, and let's say it gets to 20 and you have all your stats maxed out, but you want, like, if you prestige it, you get some really cool camos. Because not only does it add replayability and variety, but it incentivizes you to maybe not go for the OP wonder weapon, and rewards you for using something that you like may not be meta per se, and I just use air quotes, but this is audio, you can't see it. Something that might not be the most popular choice, but you've made good, and if you're really good at that gun, you can do well with it. Because I mean, like, I don't know, like let's say FAMAS Black Ops 1, that's not as good as the Galil, but let's say if you put enough time into the gun and level it up, it could become better than the Galil, which, just something like that, because then there's more variety then, because you don't have to take the Galil every time. That's just my opinion. I think a weapon ranking system would be great, just to add just more replayability, more variety. I've said that about a million times in this video, but that's really what Zombies needs to stay competitive with multiplayer. Is people have said, oh, high rounds are just the same thing, repetitive. There needs to be things just to make every playthrough just a little bit different. And in the number 1 spot, and in my opinion a huge deal, I touched on this a little bit with the separate leaderboards for Gobblegums, but a classic mode. So what I mean by classic mode, and also alternate modes, but what I mean by classic mode is the 2-hit system back from Black Ops 1 and 2. No weapon ranks, even though I just talked about that, take that out for classic mode, and no Gobblegums. So you have a very bare bones Zombies experience. So you can do the complex maps, but to add challenge, you down in 2 hits, you can't use Gobblegums, and you can't have like your Shiva will be terrible. Like it won't be leveled up and be like a 1-hit to around 40 or whatever. And I think that's really cool as well, because that's going to recapture the old like zombie diehards who remember the days of Shangri-La and Moon being really challenging. And so that way you could have a map that's easy without classic mode. It's appealing to everybody. You have a map that's easy and difficult at the same time. Because could you imagine, like, Shadows of Evil is a pretty easy map, but if Shadows of Evil you couldn't use Gobblegums and you had a 2-hit system, that would just increase so much that would just add so much tension to the map. And I think a classic mode's a great idea. But modes in general, bring back grief, bring back turn, just more options. Like if we added everything on this list into the game, you have separate leaderboards for gobblegums, much more variety with weapons, you've grief, you've turn, you've classic mode, you've survival maps. I feel like I said survival maps twice, but you've so much casual Easter eggs, you've so much variety, and I think variety in zombies is something that's just incredibly important and something they need to tap into. Now, someone take a shot for every time I've said variety in this video, because it's been way too many. But that is the most important thing in zombies, in my opinion, is just making sure it doesn't get stale. And that's where I think World War II has fallen down, is the maps just, good or bad, there's just not enough in them to keep you playing. And that's its real fuck up, because whatever your problem is about Black Ops 3, you could replay those maps pretty frequently. Well, yeah, they could get a bit annoying because you have to do a lot of complex shit. Black Ops 2, whatever you say about maps being difficult or annoying, they were replayable. Like, I could jump into Buried like 4 times, even though I don't like the map at all, because there's just something about it just keeps you playing. So yeah, those are my 10 things. I've said variety way too much in this video, but those are the 10 things that I would like to see in Black Ops 4 Zombies. If they're not implemented, I'll be okay, especially some of the more personal ones like the high rounds and the weapon ranking thing. But these are just my suggestions. I am a huge Zombies fan. I don't upload it enough on this channel, and I will get to that. But yeah, this message was brought to you by Cine Rieko 473, stamped, sealed, and approved. I'll see you guys again next time.